Hey, what is going on, my fellow collectors? Hope you guys are all doing well out there. This is Regan. Thanks for tuning back into our channel. In today's video, we are going to unbox and review this newly released figure of Hot Toys, and this is the Scarlet Witch from the WandaVision's Marvel Studios TV series TMS036, a 1/6 scale collectible figure. And before we start, if you're new to our channel, please don't forget to subscribe and press the notification bell if you want to get notified once I upload a new video, especially Hot Toys. Without further ado, let's dive in. Alright, so this is the art box, and I would say it looks great. The print is very nice and the colors are really nice as well. I think you could use this as a backdrop, right? Looks really good. And I really like the texture of the box. I mean, it kind of like a rough feel because of the design. It looks very special. And I think they got this picture of Wanda from the front picture, so it's not the real look of Scarlet Witch, kind of like animated look or cartoonish. But I prefer the real look of, Wanda or Scarlet Witch. And then those fonts at the bottom looks good, and also on the side and at the back some very straightforward description and pretty neat, I would say. And at the bottom and at the top, that's how it looks like. Anyway, this is just a beautiful art cover, so we're gonna slide it up so we can see another art box. And boom, that's how it looks like, covered by a plastic. You can see right away what's inside the box, and not much of accessories, right? And on the side, some really cool fonts or print, and at the back you can see a pretty cool montage of the picture from the TV series, and on the other side as well. Okay, so I'm excited to see the figure. Let's take it out from the box. And there you go, very neat presentation of the packaging. And let me show you guys first the instruction sheet. Okay, I'm gonna start off with the underneath packaging tray. First up is the waist holder right here, very small, together with the dynamic pole, also very thin because of course the figure is not that really big. Next up is the hexagon theme base of WandaVision. Pretty neat and very straightforward, I would say. And also a simple nameplate right there. And then right here is the cape of Scarlet Witch that we are going to attach at the back later of the figure. And I would say it looks really good, guys. The colors is really nice, and the material, the texture, and those patterns are really cool too as well. And it has some really thick bendable wire on the side, which is really good. And the material, I think it's kind of like fabric spandex material because you could really stretch this one. Really fantastic, guys. And the armor that attached to this cape, I would say it looks really good. And the hood, I think it also has some bendable wires on the side, but very thin and also stretchable. Fantastic. Okay, so now let's move on to the main packaging, starting out with the 6 batteries right here for the LED light up function. Next up is a pair of gloved hands, very small. The details and paint job looks good. Next up is 2 pairs of red colored hands with red translucent on the fingertips. The details and color are fantastic. Next up is 2 pieces of power using effects accessories. It looks good. However, I experienced right away a damage, so it's not well glued, I would say. QC problem as usual. So Hot Toys, please check this. And yeah, I think still looks good. The colors, the look. But of course the quality, yeah, Hot Toys, please check that out. And then right here is the Dark Code book. I would say it looks terrific. It looks really cool. The details and the prints, amazing. Anyway, I think this is made out of plastic material and some papers inside. Right, so now let's get the figure. I am really excited to see this one and play with this figure. But let me remove those plastic and protective foams first. And here you go, and wow, that looks beautiful. Okay, another quick look before we check the articulations. Okay, so I think that's pretty much everything included in the box. So now let's check the articulations. Starting up from the head, I think it looks good. It's pretty smooth. Actually, it's quite loose. But since there's hair sculpt at the back, so you won't feel that. But just be careful when moving it because you might gonna bump the shoulder or the skin. You might get annoyed too as well when moving side to side, looking side to side because of the hair sculpt. But I think it's fine. Looking down, it's okay, but you could see some, weird pose on the hair. But, once you take it off that head, you will feel that you could actually do some bigger range of motion and that you could attach right away the head. But, when looking up, also it has the problem because of the hair. You're not gonna, able to do that. But I think it's pretty okay, not really a big deal. But as long as, we could still have some really nice position there on the head, I think it looks perfectly fine. Moving on to the shoulders, I would say it looks great. It's pretty smooth, kind of like a ratchet joints, but it's not. You can move up to 90 degrees or over 90 degrees, which is fantastic. However, you're gonna see some really weird look there because of showing that joint on the shoulder, but I think it's fine. I think that's the use of the shoulder armor. You can move around the shoulders joint. It's pretty smooth. The elbows is kind of like a double jointed, but it's not. But you could move over 90 degrees, which is fantastic, for some poses. Range of motion is really good. And you could also do some swivel on the elbows, which is fantastic as well. Moving on to the waist articulations, I would say it is fantastic. It looks perfect to me. I mean, you could twist all the way to the side, both sides. You could do some side crunch right there, and then also crunch in and then arch to the back. So it's more of like coming from the upper torso. I think this is the correct design for the articulations on the body, on the joints. It's coming from the upper torso, not from the waistline, because that's quite weird, right? But then yeah, I think this is the correct design. So great job, Hot Toys. Moving on to the legs, I would say it looks great, even though it's quite limited, for the range of motion. I think it's totally fine as long as the joint is really tight and smooth when moving it. I think it's totally fine. The swivel is really good, double jointed for the knees, which is fantastic. I think my only concerns that I want to talk about it is the ankle joint articulations. Not really a big deal. You can still be able to do some flex point, twist, but it doesn't have that side bend or side lift. So if you're going to do some bigger range of dynamic poses, I think you're gonna have a hard time to stand there without the holder. But of course, if you're going to use the holder, then I think it's totally fine. Anyway, the wrist joint, pretty decent, nothing to worry. Okay, so now let's put the batteries inside the forearm for the LED light up functions. So I don't have any issue on the lights, batteries. I think everything works great and clear. Actually, the hands looks better when turned on in person, because here in my video it's kind of like overexposed, but then once you see that in person, you're gonna be amazed, guys. I love it. Okay, so now let's attach, or let's put the cape and the armor to the body. And here you go, that's how it looks like. I think it looks way better because it's kind of like covering those shoulder gaps. I mean, it's okay, but then it's kind of like looks better with that shoulder armor. It's kind of like more realistic because without the gaps, right? I prefer, without the shoulder armor because, of course, that's the one in the TV series. This one is not part of it, right? This one's kind of like from the promo picture, so that's just my own opinion. But my issue here is once you attach that armor to the body and you're gonna put the head on, it's going to be somehow like loose for the joints of the head. So it's gonna be like so easy to take it off, or it might gonna fall easily, so I think that's the only issue here. But everything else I think looks great, and with or without, I think it's okay. It's fantastic, I would say. And these bendable wires are really amazing. I wish Hot Toys could thought about this way back before, like on our old figures, those was a cape. And I mean, it's not just only like bendable wires, but also a thick wires that, you know, you could be able to do some high poses, you know, more dynamic poses, more flowy on the cape, which is really awesome, right? I mean, I wish hottoys could really thought about this. Of course, some of the figures doesn't really need a, you know, kind of like effect on the cape. Maybe just drop there is better, is fine, like a museum pose. But I'm just saying, you know, that's just my own opinion. I wish hottoys could really give us like some replacement, like, you know, we could change the cape to something like this, right? Anyway, the skirt of Scarlet Witch also has that bendable wires, but it's thinner and smaller because the skirt is not a really big and not heavy, you know, compared to the cape. So I think you could still be able to do some high position, high poses for the cape, which is fantastic. Okay, let's take a closer look on the details. Starting off with the boots, I would say the paint job is pretty decent. The details, I think it looks okay, it looks fine. However, I noticed some discoloration. I'm not really sure if because of I keep holding it, so the somehow the matte color of the boot is became a somehow glossy. I don't know if I scratch it too much, but then when I try to clean it up, I think it's the same. But I forgot already. I didn't notice if this one's really like this or not. But yeah, I tried to check it. Nah, so I think it's fine. It's fine. It's kind of like a more like weathering effects, right? And the pants or the leggings, I would say it is absolutely fantastic. I really love the details. I mean, those strips, those prints. I mean, I don't see any, you know, damage or issue. Those stitches are really clean. But the materials that they use on this one is kind of like prone to, you know, flaking. So make sure to always check your humidity. I mean, your display cabinet, especially if you're going to do some dynamic poses over time, am I gonna stick to each other? So always check that. Yeah, just take care of it. I think it's still gonna last longer. Yeah, but then it looks really nice, you know, especially the details. And this one is the skirt. I would say it looks amazing. The patterns, the materials that they use, it looks really nice. I think it's pretty accurate from the film, right? I really like it. Also, there's some, you know, some strips, some rubber strips there. It's really nice, guys. I really like it. And the belt, kind of like a belt, you know, this one right here. But this one is made out of plastic rubber material. However, I noticed some, I don't know, like paint chip or like kind of like a discoloration again. I'm not really sure, but probably scratch. But I tried to clean it, but then it's not easy to, you know, remove. But it's not really noticeable. But I'm just saying, like, yeah, don't try to take care of it. I think that's simple as that. But I really like the weathering effects on the side. Looks really fantastic, guys. And the quality, I think, looks good. I don't see any like not even or not aligned. Fantastic, you know, I would say. It's actually attached to the upper suit. So, and then you can see right here, kind of like a belt. I think this one is made out of plastic material. It looks good, it looks fine. But the upper suit, I would say, looks really nice. I love the details. Again, same on the bottom part. I mean, the workmanship is impeccable. The stitches, those paint job on the, you know, on the details. Not really strips, but you know, those rubber part. And then this one is kind of like the opening part that they probably going to, you know, insert, you know, the figure, which is fantastic as well. I mean, I think it's pretty neat, you know, in my opinion. And at the back, also really nice. I mean, it's, again, it's pretty neat. Look at that. That is amazing, guys, right? See, that is amazing, you know, especially her armor. Fantastic. And these arm sleeve or forearm sleeve, I would say it is absolutely fantastic. I really love the details, those embossed prints. The patterns are really nice. But this one, I think the same material that they use on the pants, also on the upper suit. Again, prone to flaking, so just be careful when doing some poses, especially if you're going to do some, you know, bending the elbows. Am I gonna stick to each other? So just always check the humidity of your display, and then I think if you could live with that, I think it's always gonna happen, you know, no matter what you do. But yeah, I mean, I wish it will last longer, you know. And again, another closer look on the cape. Those embossed prints are really incredible. I really like it, you know, especially those patterns are really nice. Even though this one is not really, you know, showed in the TV series, still awesome, you know, if you're going to display together with Vision, right? At least they both have cape, which is really amazing, right? And those headdress on her head is non-detachable, so don't try to force it. But I wish, we could really detach that so we could see some extra, head sculpt, like another look for the head sculpt, which is fantastic. And last but not the least is the head sculpt. I would say it is absolutely beautiful. It is so clean, highly detailed. I would say it's pretty accurate. I could say like 95 to 99% accurate to Scarlet Witch or Elizabeth Olsen. It looks really, really nice, the details. But I wish they made a rooted hair instead of sculpted hair. I mean, the sculpted hair, I mean, it looks great, it looks beautiful. But if they made a rooted hair, since they already, did that before, I think it's gonna be more accurate than this one. I'm just saying, that's just my own opinion. By the way, I forgot to mention that luminous reflective effect on her eyes, which is really awesome. I find it really, really cool. However, you're gonna need a small UV light laser to point it directly to her eyes, because if you're going to use a big UV light, also it's gonna come out, but somehow it's gonna cover the whole body. Then somehow you're gonna enjoy the other colors of the figures, right? But if you have the small UV light directly to her eyes, then for close-up shots, pictures, then I think it's gonna look better. Anyway, I forgot to show you guys the closer look of this Darkhold book. I find it really, really awesome, especially those details. It looks pretty accurate to me. I'm not sure about the scale, I mean the size, but then the details is awesome, especially once you open the book, and those prints are really fantastic. And last but not the least is the power using effect accessory. I just want to show you guys how you're going to attach it to the hand. And I would say it looks really, really cool, especially when the light is turned on. It's kind of like effect, or like the light is going up all the way to the power using effect. Fantastic. And the base with the waist holder, I think that's it. And my overall thoughts on this Scarlet Witch figure, I would say it is absolutely beautiful. Definitely a must-have figure to all the fans of Scarlet Witch and WandaVision TV series out there. You are going to love this one. I don't see any big issue on this figure. The articulations, details, quality, I would say terrific. However, you might still gonna encounter some flaws, but I think it won't gonna affect the whole figure. You might gonna enjoy this figure more once you have it in your hand. I think that's about it. Let me know your thoughts on this figure as well. Feel free to comment down below if you have any questions. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't yet. Until then, see you in the next one. Peace.